welcome to the Sunny Podcast. It's Anya Draus from Sun for Life Info. I first encountered Gilles Marin during a month-long Tsang training, and what stayed with me the most was how central sunlight is in his work. Today we talk about adrenaline, about circadian rhythm, about serotonin and sleep, and about why light may be the most underestimated medicine of our time. Welcome, Gilles. Thank you for saying yes to this interview.
Thank you for inviting me. Yes, my work basically is about healing. I've been doing hands-on healing within Chinese medical system tradition, coming from Taoism, a more classical aspect of Chinese medicine. And yes, Taoist means the way things are. So by connecting people with the way things are with themselves, we start what we call healing process. Healing process is getting in touch with the reason why people get disease or people get dissatisfied with their life so they can change. So healing is not so much about trying to get rid of disease, but actually using the disease as a message for themselves. Because, the disease comes from you, so healing comes from you. And from there's no disease we cannot heal from. And yes, for healing, there is a chemistry that's very important to establish for your mind and your body. And your mind has to come to that positive perspective on your own existence. And that can only come with a little change of habitual chemistry. Habitually, people live in a life that's very exciting, so they run a lot. And even when they stop running and get into depression and even the disease, their system is too acidic and too much adrenaline. And in order to get more into introversion, in touch with yourself and more into the healing mode, you have to have more serotonin in your system. Serotonin develops in your chemistry by exposition to light. So going out and absorbing, especially sunlight, is so important. And because the production of serotonin is triggered by the pineal, which is one of the main endocrine glands that establish that kind of chemistry in the body.
And so tell me, what do you feel is most missing today in how modern humans relate to their bodies?
Well, they don't. They relate only to their mind, and they think, the head is in the head. Yeah, well, your body is in your head, is in your body. Your head is part of your body. And so your body, your mind requires your whole body. And rational thinking, of course, requires those frontal lobe of your brain in order to function. But that's a function that the brain is actually just a connection, a nervous connection that brings consciousness to the mind. That's very important, of course. But in order to bring emotions to consciousness, we need to make that connection from the brain to your guts. And that takes work. That takes paying attention. And the work is because we learned not to do that. We learn to disconnect from our bodies because it's bothersome. And those emotions, especially, and the pains and aches and things like that. So we take drugs so we don't feel the body. And the body, when the body complains, is actually us complaining in our own bodies. So we disconnect from the part of us that want us to pay attention to this part of the mind that requires the whole body to manifest.
These traditions work closely with natural rhythms and elemental forces. How important is aligning the human body with nature itself, with seasons, with light, breath, movement? As you say, we are in our mind. What happens when we switch our modes a little bit?
Well, when we pay attention, then we realize that we are alive. And being alive is being part of nature, basically. And the nature has a rhythm. We are part of nature. In the same way, we have a nature in us, and that nature in us follow the rhythm, especially daytime rhythm, and to the influence of nature. So the influence of the tides, that's the same. That gives the the rhythm of the day, 24 hours that needs to be respected, especially the rhythm of season. Like right now, for me in California, it's winter. So nights are much longer. So we need to sleep longer. So important. So during sleep, that's the only time that our inner nature is allowed to process those emotions we haven't digested during the rest of the year because of being so busy. So winter, we need to hibernate. We need to go to bed earlier, in bed later. And when we are up and go into the sun, so we get our pineal to tell the body to make serotonin because we are awake. It's daytime. And serotonin turns into melatonin at night, allows you to sleep. And people cannot sleep because they're on adrenaline. So by doing into the lights and getting to the sun during the day allows you to sleep better at night. So important. No need for drugs. Yeah.
In traditional Chinese medicine and Taoist practice, the sun is not just light, it is yang, right?
Yes.
Life force, consciousness. How is sunlight understood in Taoism and Chinese medicine from your perspective? Is it right what I say? And
yeah,
what role does it play energetically, emotionally, or even spiritually in human health?
Well, basically, light is your spirit in yourself. And so we think we are also educated to see that we have only one intelligence in the body, which is rational thinking. But that's 1 out of 5. We have 5 sources of existence from the Taoist perspective. We have, of course, the rational thinking that comes from the nourishment of the nerves. But that's only one aspect. Another aspect is, as you said, the light. But that's your spirit. Spirit is a part of your mind that attracts you in life, meaning that makes you connected with what is enjoyable in life, what calls you in life, what is your life purpose, how you can enjoy life and share that enjoyment with others. So light, basically, and fire, and where light is coming from is your inner fire. That's in your heart. That's basically what gives you the capacity to love, to be attracted to things, what is important in life for you. And that's your spirit. That's a big part of your mind. It's not something that's so rational. That's something that you cannot even question. Whatever you like, that's it. That's the way you are. And so your spirit is a different part of your mind than just rational thinking.
I'd love to bring this conversation to something very personal. I was part of your Tsang training, and I remember clearly that you prescribe sunning to every single person who comes to you for treatment, regardless of their condition. Am I right? Why
Yes.
is sunning so essential in your work? And what does the sun offer that no other technique, supplement, or therapy can replace?
Sun basically, again, is a trigger for your pineal to tell your body to change chemistry. So basically, if you stay more than just 3 minutes into the sun, your body basically realizes that I am here now. So you awaken your body's intelligence, and you bring all the core intelligence in addition to your rational thinking, without having to do anything. So basically, the exposition to light triggers your body into changing chemistry. That's so important. You're cutting down on adrenaline, so you don't need to look at your watch to count the minutes to see if you stay 3 minutes there. You start to enjoy being there in the sun, because you start to feel your body. And if you don't enjoy the sun, then you can step in the shade. You don't need to remember how long you need to stay. You listen to yourself, listen to your body. So basically, the exposition to light, exposition to the sun allows you to develop a better relationship with yourself, which is essential for healing any aspect of yourself, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. You need basically to develop this relationship with yourself. And that's done with doing that sunning 3 minutes of sunning. Do it, as often as you can, of course. But just once a day, when it becomes habit, the body remembers, I can slow down. I can take my time. I can feel, how I feel. I can be in touch with my feelings, even though I'm thinking about other things. I'm more aware of myself. Yes, very, very important healing technique. Going to the sun basically gives you more serotonin, and there is no drugs that can do that. All those drugs for depression basically is a reuptake of the serotonin, meaning that it takes the serotonin from your gut to put more in your brain, which makes you happier, but doesn't give you more serotonin. And especially, your gut's not so happy either, because it doesn't make you digest your emotions. But exposition to the sun, especially, allows you to have more melatonin at night. And if you can make you sleep longer, right there, you are a different person. And by sleeping longer, you start to digest emotionally, even if you don't need to remember your dreams. Now you get into dream time, your consciousness is not aware of that, doesn't matter. You're in bed, you're asleep, you're safe in bed, anesthetized, paralyzed, and your body can do through processes that are impossible to go through when you're awake. It'll be too painful.
It sounds really like some magical medicine, but it's so simple, isn't it?
It's natural. It's the way we are born with. That's the way we're designed to work. That's the way we're designed to function.
Does it matter actually how we do it? Because I know it's so simple, just 3 minutes per day, but would you rather recommend morning light or it doesn't really matter?
It doesn't really matter. It's better to do it any time than no, none at all. But the morning light is the best. First light in the morning, especially if you don't have enough serotonin yet, so you're sensitive to light, so you don't look at the sun, of course, and you close your eyes, you face the sun, and you absorb the light through your closed eyelids, and that's fine. And that already, because your eyelids are closed already, it gets your mind to switch more to the other intelligence in your body and start to cultivate your capacity for your brain to connect to all the parts of your body, especially your endocrine system, all your way your body makes hormones in your body. That's immediate. So healing, and the morning light is the best. And what I recommend, and I always tell my practitioners, do 3 times a day for at least a week, and then you're gonna see you don't even need to try to remember. Your body is gonna make you remember because it feels so good. Your body starts to feel good about having more serotonin. I first start to prescribe, sunning only to depressed people. Then I realized that everyone needs it. So I just prescribe it to everyone. And that's the best way to really step out of depression. You cannot step out of depression if you don't have if your chemistry, you have the same chemistry and you have the same situation that puts you into depression. You're not going to be here. No drug can take you out of that. By doing sunning, you start to change as a person. And you start to be able to do things that you enjoy more. And that's how you come out of depression. Then you realize that, wow, I'm missing out in life. What can I do to catch up? And you start to connect with your spirit that directs you what is it that you really like in life? What it is that you prefer? What is it that you enjoy? What is it that attracts you? And awakening the spirit. To awaken your spirit, you have to go to the light. Yeah.
And tell me, from technical point of view, does it matter the season of the year? Does it matter if it's winter, summer?
Well, when you are high on adrenaline, you have to do it all the time, of course. Winter, basically, you need to sleep longer. So in order to sleep longer, you have to do sunning. There's no way around it. Because if you don't have enough melatonin in your endocrine system, even if you're in bed, your eyes are open. You are like hyper vigilant. Even with your thoughts, you cannot stop thinking. And so that's because of your chemistry. So you need to do sunning any season, any time. And eventually then doing the sunning allows you to get your body to tune up to the season. So in winter, you sleep longer. In springtime, you start to have more because you rested your mind, you rested your brain during the winter. Then you have to start to have new ideas to do your rational thinking. Awaken more during springtime. So during springtime, you need to do sunning. And of course, summer, and that's when the sun is the highest. That's where life enjoyment, and that's why people take vacations in the summer, so they can enjoy the sun more. That's natural. So enjoying life in the summer. Even can dance all night in the summer, but you cannot do that if you haven't slept long enough in the winter. So that's why that's how the respect of the seasons comes naturally.
Right. Today, many people are deeply afraid of sunlight.
Yes, of course.
And from your perspective, what happens when humans lose their relationship with the sun?
So being afraid of the sun, of course, if you're on adrenaline, you better be afraid, because if you go in the sun on adrenaline, you burn and you get a skin cancer. So that's why it has to be progressive. And so you do your sunning, and when you're not comfortable in the sun, you go to the shade. But when you do sunning, what happens? Your skin starts to develop melanin. And melanin is basically your big protector. And that's what actually can heal you in any skin disease, even skin cancer. So by doing sunning regularly, your body makes more serotonin, more melatonin, more melanin. Yeah, so important. But of course, if you're on adrenaline, you go in the sun. That's what people do, unfortunately. And they are in a high stress, so they take vacations and they go on the beach. They go in the tropics. They put sunglasses. So that tells your body that they are in the shade when actually they are exposed to the sun. So the body gets confused. That's how you get skin cancer. So you go to the sun when you are high on adrenaline and your body burns. Going to the sun, you have to go progressively in a way that's comfortable. So you do your sunning, you have to enjoy the beach. So don't wear sunglasses. That's number one. That's carcinogenic. And you're confusing the body. So your body is not going to make the melanin you need in order to get a tan. So in order to get a tan, don't wear sunglasses. Go enjoy the morning sun. And when you're not comfortable in the sun, go to the shade. But enjoy the light. Stay in the light. So your pineal can continue to tell your body to make more serotonin. And serotonin basically puts you in a good mood, makes you enjoy the moment, makes you enjoy your vacations. And that's basically how you connect with nature in a way that makes you healthy, taking the light, taking the beauty around you. Realize, once you have more serotonin in the system, then you can enjoy the beauty around you. And that's so important.
And we often think of digestion as purely mechanical or chemical. How does light exposure influence digestion, metabolism, and even appetite from a physiological point of view? So let's say we start sunning. We do it regularly, and how our metabolism changes.
If you are when you're on adrenaline, like most of people that are in business, they have a job, they get up, early in the morning and it's still dark. Then they go back at home, it's already dark. Yes, of course, they live in adrenaline. So what happens when you are on adrenaline? Your whole metabolism shuts down, gives a priority for what you do. Your digestion slows down, everything slows down, your intestine slows down, and your stomach, and you don't even know what your appetite is. You eat whatever is available. Your body basically is shut down when you're on adrenaline. When you start to do sunning, little by little, you have more serotonin. So serotonin basically inhibits the production of adrenaline, and your body starts to awaken a little more. That makes you feel like, what is it that you feel like eating? What are you in appetite for during your meals? And respecting how much you need to eat in order to be satisfied. When you're not satisfied, that's when people overeat. because they're not satisfied. And they're not satisfied, they're going to eat, and never going to be satisfied. When you are on serotonin, then you are in touch with when it is that you feel satisfied, what it is that you need, what it is that you need to eat, and how much of it to be satisfied. And then you stop eating after that. Yeah. So just that already is so big in your digestive system. And then, of course, digestion mechanically, it's not only for the food. Again, it's your emotions. Emotions you need to swallow. You need to stomach. You need to take what you need, and you need to eliminate what you don't. That is digestion. And elimination, of course, has to be done smoothly. And so when you do the sunning, the chemistry starts to change. Your body starts to remember that you exist, basically, and start functioning better. Just by going to the light. That's so important. Yeah. That's the best prescription you can have.
So if someone listening wanted to begin some change today and simply feel better, this is the first thing to do. Just start going to the sun a little bit, even in winter, even in dark countries. It's not about the sun shining in the sky, but it's about the light.
It's about the light. So when there is no sun, when you cannot have the light directly through your eyes, look where the light is coming from and how beauty comes out. So absorbing beauty makes your brain make more serotonin flow through the pineal. And that's a very important technique for people that live in a place where the sun is not always available. So you look around, and for 3 minutes, you open your window or whatever, you stop and you look around and look for something that's nice to look at, and you absorb, especially if it's cloudy, yes.
Mm-hmm. And after decades of practice, teaching and writing, what do you trust most today when it comes to healing?
What do I trust the most? What I trust, basically, even through, the sunning, when you change chemistry, you start to be in touch with yourself better. So you start to develop better relationship with yourself. So healing basically is developing self-respect and respecting different parts of you that you usually don't pay attention because you're too much in a hurry. So respecting your appetite, respecting what attracts you, respecting what you feel comfortable with, respecting, different parts of yourself that connects at the physical level. And that basically prevents so many symptoms are just there. And the symptom is you in your body calling for attention, wants you to pay attention. And but if you already pay attention to yourself, that's the best prevention against diseases. So developing self-respect, developing better relationship with yourself, that's basically the biggest part of healing. And that's how you acquire. Again, you grow. You grow through your life. You don't only go through life. You grow through life. And in order to grow through life, you need to digest life. And life is hard to digest. So you need to take whatever it takes to do that. So you become a real person and you acquire that maturity that allows you to be yourself, the way you are designed, the way you're born. And you're born because you have a life purpose. And you have a place in existence that you need to fulfill. And your place is important. Basically, that the realization comes out of you go through that healing process through your life. And yes, it took me decades in order to get here and get me to be so sick and realize what is it that what healing is really about. Yeah.
Thank you, Gilles. Thank you for this conversation and for the clarity and simplicity you bring to these topics. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Light changes chemistry. Chemistry influences how we sleep, how we regulate stress, and how we feel. Maybe it all starts with 3 minutes of morning light. Once again, thank you, Gilles, for your decades of work and for sharing this perspective with us. And thank you for listening. This is the Sun for Life Info Sunny podcast.